My name is Paul Tudor and I work for Cheshire West and Chester Council as their Chief Bridge Engineer, and it's been my responsibility to commission the works at Eastgate on behalf of the Council. Cheshire West and Chester are responsible for maintaining the city walls, and here we are at Eastgate Bridge and the walls to the north of Eastgate that have suffered for many generations from the ingress of water. This water has caused the movement of the walls along this stretch, which have been propped to secure them. We're now in the process of the repair to this section of the wall, which involves a huge amount of archaeological excavation and a big introduction of masonry repair and masonry ties in order to adjust the centre of gravity to curtail the movement on this stretch. As part of these works, we're looking to stop the ingress of water penetration with waterproofing along the whole stretch. We're also looking to install new handrailing to make it easier to access this important site. We're also taking the opportunity whilst this section of the walls is closed to restore the much loved Eastgate clock, which will serve us well for many generations to come.
Hello, my name is Paul Maddison. I'm a Principal Structural Engineer at Ramboll, and we were commissioned by Cheshire West and Chester Council as project managers and structural engineers on the works to Eastgate. From an engineering perspective, our technical solutions were based around good conservation practice, them being traditional materials and traditional repair techniques, sympathetic to the existing historic building fabric. As part of the process, we also had to consult with the client, the archaeologist, conservation officer and Historic England to help define and refine those solutions. In addition to the technical complexities of the project, our role as project manager was to consider the programming and sequencing of the works to minimise the impact on the local businesses and also the public. These challenges were due to the logistics and complexities of the site.
My name's Joanna. I'm a Conservation and Design Officer within the Total Environment team of Cheshire West and Chester Council. My role on the Eastgate project has been to provide advice to the design team and to question design proposals to ensure the works are in the best possible interests of the historic structure. It is often the case with historic buildings and structures that once works start on site, closer inspection is possible and it reveals unexpected issues. At Eastgate, for example, when we were able to inspect the flowers, we found that many had been replaced during an earlier refurbishment project with poor quality copies. The paint for the decorative metalwork has also required a lot of consideration. In a number of places it seemed that the metalwork had badly corroded because moisture had been able to seep in between the paint and metal. It was important, therefore, to find a type of paint which would adhere well to the metalwork to prevent future corrosion. Furthermore, it had to be available in all of the colours needed for the decorative features around the clock and be guaranteed not to fade. Another issue which has required considerable thought is how to lift the stone paving slabs on the steps up to the Eastgate Bridge to enable waterproofing to be inserted beneath. Here the railings have been fixed into the slabs with lead in the traditional way, and to lift the slabs either the railings or the stone needed to be cut. By questioning both methods, the design team were encouraged to investigate further and found that the stone slabs were not as old as the railings. It was therefore agreed that the railings would be kept intact and the slabs cut to allow them to be lifted.
My name's Julie Edwards. I'm a senior archaeologist with the Cheshire Archaeology Planning Advisory Service. The city walls are a scheduled monument, and that means they have legal protection under the 1979 Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Areas Act. So any work on the walls has to be done with the consent of the Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sport, who's represented by Historic England. So all the plans for the works that were going to go on were submitted to Historic England, and they've issued what is known as scheduled monument consent, and all the work has to be done in line with the conditions of that consent.
Hi, I'm Liz Green and I'm an archivist at the Cheshire Record Office. Cheshire Record Office holds an original account book and drawings for the decorative ironwork on the Eastgate clock. The work was carried out by local Hanbridge blacksmith James Swindley. We sent copies of James Swindley's working drawings to specialist conservation blacksmith Steve Bowyer, who has used them to recreate exactly the flowers which adorn Chester's Eastgate clock.
And here we are at Eastgate with the works now complete. The archaeological excavation is done. This has been infilled with masonry and stainless steel ties to make it secure. We've also waterproofed this stretch here and the stretch beyond to protect the city walls for future generations in this area. Whilst we've been here, we've also replaced this parapet with a more robust solution that is in keeping with this area. And as you can see, the works at Eastgate Clock are now complete and it looks splendid. I hope that you've enjoyed this short film about the repairs to the city wall and the restoration of Eastgate Clock. There have been many challenges along the way, so I'd like to offer my heartfelt thanks on behalf of the council to all those that have been involved. Thank you.